We're asking tonight, with corruption a major poll issue, can the Congress in fact afford to tie up with the fodder scam tainted Lalu? Joining us on that discussion tonight from the Rashtriya Janata Dal, Manoj Jha, spokesperson of the party, Pawan Verma of the JDU, also joining us tonight, Sankarshan Thakur, roving editor of The Telegraph, and here in the Delhi studio with me, Pinky Anand, spokesperson for the BJP. Manoj Jha, let me begin with you. You know, Lalu Prasad talking about an alliance within minutes of walking out of the Birsa Munda jail, talking about the need for secular forces allying at the centre. Are we seeing a last-ditch attempt to keep himself politically relevant?
Ankita, because I feel that we are listening to your package before you started this debate, I believe that we are the demonized others. So give me 2-3 minutes so that I could make 2-3 points. When Lalu Prasad ji came out of jail and he made secular forces should come together, that's the reality of 2014. He was simply responding to the call of Mr. Prime Minister, who, while coming from US on October 1st, 2013, had made a similar appeal to all political parties with secular credential. That is number one. Number two, Ankita ji, this shall not be the first case in Indian jurisprudence where an honorable lower court's order might be set aside by a higher court. A party with the highest metrics of vote in today's date, it is entire party is being demonized that it's a corruption tainted or a fodder scam tainted. What kind of debate are we indulging into? That is my second point. And third, I would also request you, Ankita ji, if that be the case, in view of Liberahan Commission report, the entire political party like BJP should not be allowed to enter election fray. The reality of Bihar, your debate should in sync with what is the reality of Bihar today. In Bihar, the churning is in our favor. We have moved much beyond the so-called MY. Large number of new social groups. I think the discomfiture in certain quarters is driving people to make this debate entirely, off the tangent. And that pains me as a spokesperson, because this kind of demonization no other political party has suffered in the past.
Let's bring the JDU and the BJP in straight away into those points that you're making. Demonization of the RJD in this case, Pinky, go ahead.
Do I need to talk about demonizing as if it is something which is being done? You have a clear example of somebody who's been convicted by a competent court for the fodder scam and is behind bars. Ultimately, you have the law which bars him from contesting from elections. You have the Congress coming forth with the ordinance until, of course, there is another scene over the entire press conference and a purported attempt to show that that ordinance should be torn up and thrown away and it is rubbish, which came as some kind of last-ditch effort. Everybody knows that the ordinance was brought in by the Congress only to try to save Lalu from conviction and possible disqualification.
But we saw Rahul Gandhi tearing up that ordinance as well.
Oh, but that obviously there was something else going on at that scheme because it didn't work out. The people obviously were critical of the entire movement of the Congress to bring around the ordinance because the people want a clean polity today and nobody wanted Lalu to kind of come back into politics. That was the situation for you. So the question of what is happening here, at one hand Congress is supporting Kejriwal in Delhi to say we want a clean governance and we are there for the clean parties, and on the other hand the question is of forming an alliance in Bihar with RJD. That is the position. It's, I think, the obvious standing on the record.
Sankarshan Thakur, we're seeing a newly assertive Rahul Gandhi taking credit for bringing in the Lokpal bill, tearing up the ordinance that would have brought relief to Lalu Prasad. At this point now, when the Congress seems to be in talks with the RJD, where does that leave them really? What is the image that's being projected?
Ankita, clearly things operate at various levels, and in this case they are operating at least at two levels. There is the politically correct Rahul Gandhi level of things, and there is a realpolitik. And I think realpolitik has brought home to a lot of congressmen, not only in Bihar but also in Delhi, that they will be better off allying with Lalu Yadav at this stage. We might say a whole lot of things about convictions and crimes and the way electorates, fortunately or unfortunately, the way electorates tend to perceive their leaders. I think they operate along non-legalistic lines, often tribal and caste lines, often out of loyalties that they think they should adhere to. So a conviction, sort of debarring from the electoral process may not necessarily, in electoral terms, act against the RJD. In fact, from what the sense I get,
right,
and it is early days yet, but from the sense I get, that since Lalu Yadav's conviction and since his sort of debarring from electoral politics, his core constituency has rallied even more strongly behind him. Which is why you find Lalu even coming out of jail a very ebullient, presenting a picture of great confidence.
He was inimitable as ever, and
yes.
in his very irrepressible
style. And there are
style.
good reasons for it. There are good reasons for that.
Okay, good reasons for that. Pawan Verma, respond to that. Does the possible revival of a Congress, RJD, LJP alliance put a question mark on Nitish Kumar's strategy for 2014?
No, I think Mr. Nitish Kumar has said quite clearly that the alliance between the RJD and the Congress is, as he called it, swabhavik. It's only natural because they are already members of the UPA. And the keenness for Mr. Lalu Yadav to have this alliance is also easily understood. As he stepped out from Sirsa Munda jail after indictment in the fodder scam. Currently the RJD has 3 seats, the Congress has 2, and the Lok Jan Shakti Party has none. There was a 15-year period when the RJD ruled Bihar, and I think even those who are very devoted to Mr. Lalu Yadav will recognize that that period in terms of governance drove Bihar into the ground. And in terms of near anarchy, no one could even come out of their houses after 6. But that is not the issue here.
Are you in effect saying this is the last resort of the desperate?
I believe that Mr. Lalu Yadav's desire for an alliance after what happened in 2009 when they fought separately, and given his own vulnerabilities, is understandable. The decision is for the Congress party to take. It's an independent party. I can only repeat what Mr. Nitish Kumar said, that the position of the JDU is unaffected by this because in over 8 years of the JDU rule led by Mr. Nitish Kumar, it has given back to Bihar the dignity, the prospect of hope and prosperity and clean politics and good governance, and these affect every people across the spectrum of the state. So he has said, we will continue to do our work, and if people vote for us on that basis, the JDU stands alone and is confident of doing well on that basis.
All right, the JDU stands confident of going alone. Where does that leave the BJP in a sense? If you have the Congress, the RJD, the LJP coming together as a formation on the one side and the JDU on the other, does that really leave you with very little in terms of the vote bases you're looking at?
Not at all. Ankita, what has happened is, for the time being, let us just see, you have this alliance coming place in an act of desperation, whether you say it's for the UP or whether it is for the Lalu Prasad's party. It's an act of desperation, sheer and simpliciter, because there is no commonality, and that has been seen through 2004 and then 2009 when the parties went the separate ways. There isn't any commonality excepting the desperation to try to get the seat basis. But be that as it may, when Nitish Kumar dished out of the BJP and the JDU alliance, after that BJP's base has become so much stronger that I think you will find that in Bihar we are going to get a substantial number of seats on our own. We do not need any of these alliances now to keep us there. We are there on our own merit, and if you see the entire wave in the country, let's go back to what the situation is. You are having such a high issue on corruption as far as the country is concerned. You are having such a high issue of the Modi-led government by the BJP, which is a wave which is going to sweep across all.
Let's get the Congress in. Sanjay Jha, thank you for joining us at this point. Sanjay Jha, the point that's been made already on the show is that, there's realpolitik, and then, there are issues and stands on corruption. Are we, in a sense, seeing the two now at loggerheads when it comes to allies and when it comes to anti-corruption as a major plank going into 2014?
Ankita, we have already seen the magnetic impact of Mr. Modi's charms, because from the moment he was anointed as a Prime Minister candidate, you have had people running away as if they've seen a phantom in the dark. So that clearly tells you that despite all the very hyped optimism of my BJP spokesperson, but the truth of the matter is, if you look at the BJP in Bihar, it was on the shoulders, piggyback riding on the shoulders of JDU that the BJP made some penetration into Bihar. Now they're desperate, but one thing which I can tell you, that Bihar has traditionally always voted against the communal oriented parties. That's the reason why BJP for a considerable period was only a peripheral player. It benefited because the JDU gave it some platform. But after, I think, the JDU has taken a stance on the issue of secularism and the fact that no matter how much you can criticize Mr. Lalu Yadav, the truth is that JDU, as it stands today, RJD led by Mr. Lalu Yadav and the Congress have always been very strong as in terms of the secular philosophy and their practices. So I think the BJP will find itself isolated. As to what Congress does, because we have a history of having worked with the RJD, but the truth is we are living in politically fluid times. I'm sure our senior leaders will take stock whether we need to go it alone, whether we need an alliance partner.
Are you saying Lalu Yadav has jumped the gun by announcing that this alliance is in fact happening?
Well, all I'm going to say is that our senior leaders have to really take a real formal call on that, because strategically there are options. Bihar is, Ankita, there's no denying, a very critical state. If you look at the BJP, I honestly believe that, for all the talk of their having won a couple of state assembly elections, it's a UP and Bihar that determines their future, because they're non-existent in virtually 60% of the country. So they are going to, try and hope to somewhere, attack the secular oriented parties or, see if they can strike some kind of a compromise. But I don't see that happening. And therefore, I believe, end of day, Bihar's verdict will be crucial and they will work on obliterating BJP from the face of Bihar altogether. I am predicting a wipeout for the BJP in Bihar.